Good morning and welcome to Ringer Sports Studio. Today is Sunday, November the 25th. I'm Ringer Senior and I'm here with
Ringer Junior.
We're broadcasting our Sunday edition for NFL Week 12 action on Sunday, November 25th. Season's plugging along here. A lot of moves in place as we approach the playoffs. But if you haven't had a chance to check us out before we get into our picks today, please do so. Father-son duo talking professional sports, NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, college basketball, college football, the top five sports that we actually do. We don't dive into any other sports really that much, hockey or anything else, because these are our favorite sports, and it is the best time of year as we approach the holiday season and the college football season winding down. Really, things are starting to tighten up in college football. We had, I believe, 7 ranked teams in the top 25 get upset yesterday. It's going to put a wrench into things. Alabama, Ole Miss, Colorado, Army, Texas A&M in quadruple overtime lost to Auburn. A couple others actually never made the cut yesterday, so it should be really interesting as things unfold for the 12-team playoff action coming up soon. So, very interesting day in college football yesterday. On our Twitter picks last night and videos, we finished at 3-3. Um, Looking at our 5% plays, 33-19 for a 62.5% record. We've got a 5% play that we're going to review today, and hopefully we can provide some winners to you folks today. Today's NFL may post a little bit later as well for NBA action on any games that are happening tonight. So looking at a lot of totals here today, it seems to be kind of our niche over/under totals as well as team totals. Most of our 5% plays that we've looked at in NFL over the last number of weeks have been on our team totals, oftentimes in the first half. So looking for offensive teams that are coming out of the gate swinging, and each and every week we're trying to find that niche that will help us share with anybody that's viewing our videos. So again, if you haven't had a chance, please like, subscribe, share our YouTube channel. If you like the content, we'd love to give you guys a thumbs up, and we'll carry on with our picks today. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip it off to Ringer Junior. I'm looking at three overs, three over under totals, as well as a mini 2 game parlay, and then we also have a couple of anytime touchdown picks. I've got two. Ringer Junior has two that we'll share with you, and then Ringer Junior has his picks right now. Then I'll go ahead and flip it over to you, Ringer Junior, to run through yours.
So I got two first half team totals today. The first one here, I'm gonna look at the Detroit Lions over 13.5 team total in the first half. I'm gonna take this one as a 4% play. Uh, they have been the best offense in the NFL by far. I mean, they're averaging 19 points in the first half. Indy's defense is actually they have they actually have done pretty well this year. They only give up 10 points in the first half. But Indy at home, but this Detroit offense is just too good. 13 and a half. I think they'll score 2 touchdowns and probably 4 or 5 in the entire game. So I'm going to look at the over 13 and a half team total in the first half for them. I'm also going to look at my 5% play, Washington over 13 and a half team total. Washington, they average 15 points in the first half, and Dallas actually gives up 15 and a half in the first half as well. Washington, as I said, same thing as Detroit. No way they don't score 2 touchdowns. And this Dallas defense has been absolutely atrocious this year. They don't have Trayvon Diggs in this game, and I see Jane Daniels probably running one in. Robinson probably getting a touchdown, and they could end up with 3 in the first half in this game. So that's my 5% play. Washington over 13.5 team total first half.
Nice, very good. So a couple of team totals, one 5%er. Dallas defense has not been that great, and teams have been able to get out to a very strong first half lead. So 2 touchdowns minimum for Washington. Might get to 17 with the field goal to throw it in there in the first half. Really like that pick. And of course, hard to doubt what Detroit's doing. They're scoring at will, easy and often with putting up points last week against Jacksonville. They scored on seven straight touchdowns on the first 7 possessions. Absolutely crazy. So, but I do think that's a trap game. I do think Detroit is a trap game heading into Indy. I think it's going to be not a letdown for Detroit. I think they're going to win the game. But if anybody's looking at the side, Anthony Richardson is back. He played well last week. Got that win against the Jets. So don't be surprised if this game's a lot closer than the 7. The line started 8.5. It moved to 7.5, and now as of right now it's at 7. So the line has moved down to that 7 number. So if you do like Indy, you better get in before it moves again before kickoff. All right, looking at my picks, I'm looking at 3 over unders, all overs here. I'm actually looking at the Detroit Indy game over 50. It's a big number. I do think Indy has played some pretty solid defense, but no one's going to slow down Detroit for less than 27, 28 points. So Indy's going to have to score to keep this game close. I do think it's going to be a touchdown game. I think Detroit's probably going to win by 6 or 7, most likely. But I do think Detroit's going to get at least 4 touchdowns to get to 28. So, 28, 22, 28, 23, 28, 24 kind of game. I think Indy's going to be able to score on Detroit. Like I say, I think it's kind of a little bit of a trap. I think Indy has to stay pace with Houston that's leading in the division. Coming off that big win against the Jets is going to help them. So give me up and over 50 as a team, as a over/under total for the Detroit Indy game as a 3% play. Heading to Seattle, looking at the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. Line sitting at 47.5. I'm taking over here as well. This is a huge game for Seattle. Arizona's leading the division at 6-4, coming off the San Francisco loss last week. Seattle squeaking out that win, getting to 5-5, and putting San Francisco back. San Francisco needed that win to stay pace with the Arizona Cardinals. Now Arizona's a game up on Seattle. One would say this would be a defensive type of affair because Seattle has to win, so they really got to tighten things up. But Arizona's defense, I know they've only given up 9 or 12 points in the last 2 games, but the first part of the season they were giving up points, and I do think Seattle can fire the ball. Gino has the ability with his manpower out there to fire the ball. Really strong running back in Walker. I think this is going to be a back and forth game, high intensity, high tempo game, and I think this game's going to get into the 50s. To be quite frank, I see this as a 27-24, really close game. I'm not sure who's going to take this one home. I think Seattle has a little favorite with the fans at home. Not sure what the weather's like today, but I do think this one's getting up and over. I think there's going to be lots of scoring in this into the 50s. So give me up and over. This is going to be a 4% play on the over 47.5. All right, heading to the late game tonight, we've got Philadelphia heading to the Rams at SoFi Stadium. Over under sitting at 48.5. All depends on which Rams team is going to show up tonight. Philly's got it pretty much right. Won 6 in a row. Defense is pretty solid. But I still like the over here at 48.5. I do think the Rams can score. They're all healthy. Nakua's back, Kupp's back, solid running back in Kieran Williams. They're able to move the ball. I think there's a great opportunity for this to be actually a really close game. Philly's a 2.5-point road favorite. Rams need to stay pace in the West. Again, tight matchup. Philly's coming off that big win to Washington, taking a game lead in the NFC East. So I do think this is going to be a really close game, and I do think they're going to be able to put up some points. So give me up and over as a 3% play, Philly and the Rams. Now, to give you my last pick before we jump into our TD picks, I'm actually looking at a small 2-game parlay. It's going to get it up and over to a little bit numbers juiced to 2.25. Going to make this as a 2% play. And I'm looking at Philly over 23.5 points, as well as the Rams over 20.5 points. So I think both these teams are going to be able to score. I think Philly's going to score at least 24. I think the Rams are going to score at least 21. I actually think they're going to score more than that, which we'll need to get up and over the total. So I'm going to take a little mini game, two-game parlay as a 2% play. Philly over 23.5 and the Rams over 20.5 points. All right, Ringer Jr., we've got 2 anytime touchdown picks, and I've got 2. So what are you looking at here?
First one here, I'm gonna look at Brian Robinson Jr. for the Washington Commanders to score a touchdown. He's gotten a touchdown in five of his last 6 games, and I think Washington will probably put up 4 or 5 touchdowns in this game, and there's no chance he's not getting one of them. So that's gonna be my first one as a 3% play, and also heading over to the Sunday night football game. I'm gonna look at Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown. If they get within the 1 or even the 2-yard line, they'll most likely do a tush. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Do a tush push to get in the end zone, and he's gotten this. And he has 11 touchdowns in the year, and I'm pretty sure he's gotten this. And I don't know, 6 of his last 7. 9 out of 10. My gosh. Anyways.
7 to 10.
7 to 10.
5 in a row.
Yeah, 5 in a row. Okay, and that's gonna be my other touchdown play with Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown. Both as 3% plays.
Right on. 2 for me that I'm looking at is Amon St. Brown, Detroit. Got him in fantasy for 1, not the reason why I'm taking him. But he's gotten a touchdown in 8 in a row. So 8 of 10, but 8 in a row he scored a touchdown. He's the money. He's the money man in the red zone. Goals to go. He's getting touches. little dump off passes, slant goes, things like that. So they're playing Indy. I think it's an opportunity for him to get in early in the game, as we talked about with Detroit's over a pick. I'm going to ride this one out. I'm taking him over anytime touchdown. Hard to bet that one. I'm going to take it as a 2% play. Anytime touchdown. I'm on St. Brown for 8 in a row. And look at this one here. This is going to be a smaller, more like a 1, maybe 2% play. Most likely a 1% play is Joe Mixon over 2 TDs against the Tennessee Titans. Now, he had 3 TDs last week, I think, in the first half. He ran rampant. Tennessee's a good, solid defense, but I do believe Mixon's going to be able to get the ball in goal situations. He may break one loose for a 25-yard touchdown as well. He's gotten this in 3 of his last 6 games, so 50% of the time he's had two TDs or more, but he's gotten it in 3 of his last 6. And if you're looking at just the number super juiced on just one TD at minus 200, I believe. He's gotten this in 7 of his last 8, just getting 1 touchdown. So if you're just looking at one, the number's pretty juiced. So I'm going to go ahead and lay 2 touchdowns for Joe Mixon with the Houston against Tennessee game as 1, maybe 2% play. I haven't decided. So there you have it. There's all of our picks. Pretty good matchup. Usually have some player props in here. I haven't had a chance to do too much research on that today. May squeeze some in a little bit later before kickoff. Rounding out the games, I've got Detroit, Indy over 50, Arizona, Seattle over 47.5, Philly and the Rams over 48.5. Little mini 2-game parlay. Philly over 23.5 with LA over 20.5. My 2 TD anytime touchdown. St. Brown and Mixon as Mixon getting 2 as my picks, and then Ringer Jr. You have what?
Detroit over 13.5 in the first half as a 4% play. Washington over 13.5 in the first half as a 5% play, and then Brian Robinson Jr. and Jalen Hurts both score a touchdown as 3% plays.
There you have it. Please like, subscribe, share our YouTube channel. Find us on Twitter at CollinRing12 or Ringer Sports Studio. Those picks will be loaded, the video loaded here, and be posted on Twitter here momentarily. Have an awesome Sunday and enjoy the games. Like them and